This video is about an administrative procedure that's received more than a little bit of press and a Court of Appeal decision that was reached after a little under 5 years of litigation. The Court of Appeal decision, which was certified for publication, is Lewis Lozano et al. Versus City of Los Angeles. It was filed January 7th, 2022. The issue presented is one that, although it took till 2022 to resolve, began on a Saturday, April 15th, 2017. And Lewis Lozano is an officer at Los Angeles Police Department. What happened on April 15th, 2017 was in the Crenshaw division, they were having an extremely busy day. And in fact, their captain, Captain Davenport, was en route to address a homicide. And you would think that that's priority number one, right? Well, not when you get a radio call for a 211 in progress at Macy's in the Crenshaw Mall, which is police code for armed robbery in process. So Captain Davenport, guys with guns, mall, problem, diverts himself from the homicide call and heads to the Crenshaw Mall. And he notices something unusual. He sees an alley as he's en route, and he sees a police car back out of the alley and leave the scene, which seems very unusual to him. So with the police radio, Lozano and his partner Mitchell get the call of the robbery in progress. And Lozano says, quote, "I don't want to be his help," referring to the captain. And they don't help. So you would think, in and of itself, that would be terrible enough for LAPD officers in the area to not respond to an armed robbery call. Well, the Sergeant Gomez is concerned about the fact that the car had, pulled out of the area, and Sergeant Gomez, who is their supervisor, is uneasy about the way they behaved, and he talks to them and says, "Were you listening to the radio? Did you get a call, for backup?" And they're like, "No, not at all." Now, the problem for Mitchell and Lozano is that there is a recording in the car of what is said and what comes in over the radio. And in fact, it's called a DICVS recording. And about 5 minutes after the robbery call, Lozano said, "Screw it," about checking in with the communications regarding the robbery. And Mitchell alerts Lozano that a Snorlax just popped up at 46th and Limer, which, as many of you know, is a Pokemon Go character. And in return, Lozano responds, "I'll go down 11th and swing up on Crenshaw. I know that way I can get to it," referring to the Pokemon character. On their way to the Snorlax location, Officer Mitchell alerts Lozano that there's a togetic that just popped up, noting it's on Crenshaw just south of 50th. Now all of this is while there is an armed robbery in process. Mitchell exclaims with respect to the Snorlax, got him. And they agreed to go get the togetic and drive off. And they're talking to the togetic on the recording, saying, don't run away, don't run away. And he talks about, this is Mitchell, buried it and ultraballed the togetic before announcing, quote, got it. So you would think that once these people got caught and the recording was public, that would be the end of it, because they ultimately were terminated. And in fact, there are restrictions on using the recordings when it's just personal conversation, but there's an exception for criminal conduct or egregious misconduct. And Lozano and Mitchell argued that the use of the recording wasn't in connection with egregious misconduct. It took 32 pages of a Court of Appeal decision to get past that and to uphold the firing. Additionally, they argued that Sergeant Gomez, who was concerned about officers not responding to an armed robbery, should have read them their rights, and asking them what happened was somehow akin to somebody being accused of a crime, and that they should have been read Miranda rights, or otherwise their rights were violated. What sticks out to me is not the fact that these officers weren't responding and were playing games, which is bad in and of itself, but that it took over 4.5 years, and somebody decided to take this through administrative mandamus, the Superior Court and the Court of Appeal, to finally get an ultimate adjudication that Mitchell and Lozano had no business being with LAPD. John Belcher, Pokemon Go, LAPD, and the California Court of Appeal.